So you want to tell me a little bit about yourself to start off?
Sure. So I'm Zeljka. I'm a third year, now a PhD candidate in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. I actually do all my research off campus at the National High Magnetic Field Laboratory. So that's kind of different as far as, I only come to campus for seminars and stuff like that. And my research focuses on analyzing various proteins, disease state proteins, as well as developing different techniques to analyze proteins. So I did not go to Florida State for my undergrad. I went to a small college in Georgia called Georgia College and State University, where I also performed research. I did, I would say, kind of baby research. So at my undergrad, they just encouraged us to kind of get more curious, but it wasn't anything hardcore like here where you're trying to publish, you're trying to do a lot of work. So it was a really nice experience before coming to grad school, and I think it's better prepared me. And I'm from the Atlanta area. I came to grad school right out of undergrad. So I got my bachelor's degree and 2 months later started my PhD. So I know a lot of people take different routes. And I have a lot of friends who, took a couple years off, 1 year off, to some people take 10 years off. But that was not for me because I thought once I started making money, I was like, bye. I wouldn't want to come back to school. What else? I don't know. I think that's it. In my spare time, I'm a Yelper, I guess. I'm one of those people. I love to leave reviews. I love to go new places. I love going hiking, running, and that's about it.
Any good places in Tally that I haven't been to that you might want to recommend?
As far as hiking or eating?
Either.
So I really like Lafayette Park. It's the one connected to Tom Brown.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever been there, but I highly recommend it. There's 2 Lafayette Parks in Tallahassee. One's Midtown area, but this one is over towards the Costco area. If you know where that is. Yeah. So it's connected to Tom Brown Park, and it's a really cool lake, kind of swampy vibe, I guess. But it's a very well maintained trail, so I really like it out there. I probably go out there 2-3 times a week now. And eating wise, I don't even know what my favorite restaurant is. I love Cancun's, which is I know probably the trashiest Mexican restaurant in Tallahassee, but easily the best. And I love their music choices. I probably go there more than anything.
Nice. We have to check it out. So how has it been communicating with your, I guess, people who you're doing your research with, if you have a group?
Yeah, so that's another thing that's kind of different, I guess. My research group, the dynamic is a little different. Since we do research at the Mag Lab, we are part of one division of the Mag Lab. And so I have my boss who's my research PI, who's my connection to Florida State. Mm-hmm. And then I have my boss who's the boss of the group at the lab. And then I have a third boss who is the boss of biological applications of our group.
Okay.
And so we meet once a week minimum. We meet every Monday. We prepare slides to discuss what we've done the week before, questions if we have any, and what we plan on doing, or if we need something to do. So we communicate fairly often. I'd probably say too often sometimes, because when you're analyzing data and every week you're supposed to give 10 slide presentation, I'm just here's what you saw last week, and here's one different thing. And here's another different thing. I was and here's the same project I've been showing data on for the last 3 weeks. So I think it's boring, but it's really nice. Zoom has been an awesome thing to have, especially meeting with our group members, because we can do the whole share screen thing. You can do the remote access screen. I don't know how to do it, but I know you can. And so it's a lot easier. I guess the only thing it kind of sucks is I use Zoom on my personal computer because my desktop from work doesn't have a camera or a mic. So that's a little tricky. And sometimes gets in the way, but it's not a big deal, I'd say.
That's good. So how has this whole quarantine thing kind of affected your work ethic, if you think it has?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so are you a graduate student or an
No,
under?
I'm an undergrad. I'm actually a
Okay,
first
yeah.
year.
Wow.
Yeah.
At first I was this my first year of undergrad, wow, no, I was barely surviving, get along thinking about the future. Um, but my work ethic, so I think a lot of people there are scientists who can come to work every day and give 9 hours of pure effort and productivity. I am not one of those people. I have a very short attention span. I'm one of those people. I roll in at 9:30. I drink my coffee till 11, and then 11:30 I go on lunch and take an hour-long lunch. I'm like very lax about it. And when I need to do work, I just kind of hunker down, finish all I need to do, and I just kind of take it a little slower. I would say I'm not being any less productive, but I do get more distracted. So like, at work, I kind of do things a lot slower. Now I just rather do them really quickly. Same same quality of work, just a little quicker. And then I could just like lay around to watch TV, go on the runs. I think it's just been really nice to not have that 9 to 5 kind of structure,
Yeah.
because I get on like, I roll out of bed, take a quick shower, 8:30 I can be down drinking coffee. But like when I have to get ready and drive over, then 9:30, 10 o'clock is when I'm rolling in.
Mhm.
But I really like working from home, and I think it's taken off a lot. So my group, I don't want to say they're mean. There's a lot of scientists, so people already have their PhDs who are very dedicated to the job. And while I love science and I love the research we do, it's not my whole life. So I can't be one of those people where all I think about is work, because I have a lot more to think about.
Yeah.
And so it's been kind of a nice break from them, because I feel like everyone in my group is so scatterbrained that they like, while I'm working at my desk, like obviously I'm very busy. Like I put on my headphones, I'm like really concentrated. Like 20 people will come up to my desk and be like, "Can I ask you a quick question? Can you do this really quickly? Do you have time right now?" I'm one of those people. I need to focus, get it done, and call it a day. I cannot be interrupted 1,000 times, and that's my group members love interrupting me. I think I'm targeted for some reason. So it's been a nice break from them. I will not lie about that.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have a good like work-life balance and to know when
Yeah,
to separate them.
and that's the issue. Like my main boss doesn't have a good work-life balance, and that does take a negative toll on me, I've noticed. And then I had like a period of time in grad school where I just kind of like got sucked into this, like I get to work at 9 every morning, I leave at 8 p.m., I work all day, I'm like giving them it all. And I did this for like probably a whole semester and a half. And then I was like, and then somebody asked me, I think it was my downstairs neighbor, was like, "So like, what do you like to do?" I was like, "Work." I was like, "No." He's like, "No, like, what do you like to do?" He's like, "I like to like make this like craft thing." I was like, "I don't know what I like to do." I was like, "Well, this isn't really fun." And so I've changed a lot from that point. But I mean, grad school is a lot of roller coaster up and downs emotionally, work ethic wise. People are always like, "Well, once you have a good work ethic, you can stick by it." But I mean, sometimes you just like, you come to work and you just don't want to be productive. Like
Yeah.
one bad thing happens, I'm like, "Yo, I'm not trying to be here." Like, so it's a lot of up and downs. And I think that's why it's so important to have a good balance, or any kind of balance, really. Even if it's an off balance kind of thing, like anything extra to kind of supplement your life, as far as also being in school, because I mean, grad school does take up a lot of time and a lot of your mental capacity, I guess.
Yeah. So how has social distancing been affecting you?
Oh, I am the worst social distancer. Thankfully my boyfriend's here and has been staying with me. So like at least I have someone here. But
Mhm.
like every single day I want to text people and be like, you want to hang out? You want to hang out? I like bought a soccer ball. I was like, perfect. We can all hang out. We don't have to touch the soccer ball, with our hands. Like, yeah. And everyone's like, it's social distancing. I was like, I know, but I miss everyone. So yeah, as far as like, I just need a lot of social interaction throughout the day. And so that's been hard, but like my best friends from back home, we like get on Zoom once a week. I have like happy hour Zoom, and
Nice.
I talk to like the other grad students in my group. We also get on Zoom and just like chat or like practice presentations or whatever with each other. So it's like a nice time to also kind of reconnect, because I am a very social person.
Yeah, I know this has been interesting for some extroverts that I know. They're very not happy about all this.
Yeah, we went to the grocery store like 2 weeks ago, so like the first week of quarantine, and I like kept like like touching things, like going on, and my boyfriend's like, stop touching things, people are looking at you. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, and people are like trying not to talk to you. I'm just like, hi, I'm so sorry for touching that. And they're like, it's like, okay, sorry. I'm one of those like very there people, so I'm like, I'll try to stay my distance, but it's hard.
Okay, so what got you interested in doing like biochem type stuff?
So in undergrad, I did PChem research, so physical chemistry. Did a lot of modeling and a lot of kinetics experiments. And then I got here, I knew I wanted to do analytical chemistry. That's just the type of chemistry I really like. It's more problem solving and less being in the lab, which I'm not a person who likes to wear safety glasses and a lab coat. That's just really not my vibe. I don't even like wearing closed-toed shoes, so much easier when you can work on a computer. So then when I got here, I wanted to come to Florida State because when I was an undergrad, this student came to talk to us, and he was a graduate student, and he went to Florida State, and he had also gone to the same undergrad. And funny enough, he was also in the same research group I'm in now.
Funny.
But he was like, this is a great analytical program, all this stuff. And I applied to Florida State mainly, because I'm from the Atlanta area, so it's only like a 4.5-hour, 5-hour drive down. I didn't really want to move too far. And then when I got here, you do like rotations. So every program's a little different, every department's a little different. But in our department, all the professors during orientation week come and present. And then you pick 6 professors to meet one-on-one with. And then from there, you pick 3 professors to do lab rotations. And so I'd never done anything really biology related, but then when I started doing lab rotations and came like group meetings and stuff like that, people would discuss, what they were doing. And I really liked that dynamic of my group. And my group actually is unique in another way, in the sense that we do half biology research and half petroleum research. So it's divided. And I didn't want to do petroleum research. It smells bad. I don't want to go into the oil, like I don't want to work for Shell or Exxon or anyone like that. So I really thought the biology part was really interesting, even though I had no idea. I couldn't even work a micropipette. I didn't know anything in the lab, but I thought it was just more interesting. It's more relatable, I guess, because like one of my projects is with the Mayo Clinic, and I worked on like a cancer research project, and it's easier to convey that message to people rather than like doing more like theoretical chemistry, where you're like, oh, I do all this like theoretical stuff, and people are like, why do we care?
Interesting. So what are your end goals, I guess, after you're done with your PhD?
I think I'm definitely trying to go into a postdoc position if one is open. Postdoc positions unfortunately are very timing based. So when their previous postdoc left, or if they got funding to get a postdoc. So ideally I would go into a postdoc position, just because, a couple of years, I would say like 10, 20 years ago, you only went into a postdoc position if you were going to go into academia. But now we see a lot more people are going into industry after a postdoc position as well. And a lot of industry jobs are looking for applicants who have done postdoctoral fellowships. So hopefully do a postdoc for 2 to 3 years and then just kind of go from there, see what's up.
It's good to be kind of open and to be thinking about, you know, what's going to make you hireable.
Yeah. And then like the thing is like, you know, if I leave and there's like a good academic job, okay, I could do an academic job, but like I also want to try industry just because I've really never been in industry. As I said, a lot of people take off time and actually they go into industry and then they realize they want to come back because they don't want to do the same thing in lab every day. But I'm like, I don't know like the kind of pressures there are in industry, but academia is also a devil in itself.
Yeah, it's its own monster.
Yeah. So I for some reason, it was like my freshman year of undergrad and people were like, I'm going to go to pharmacy school after this. And they're like, I'm going to go to like get my MD. And I was like, I'm going to go to grad school. I was like, that seems pretty cool. And everyone's like, what? I was like, I think that's what I'm going to do. And everyone's like, okay. I was the only one that went to grad school out of my graduating class. But I also graduated like 24 people. So it wasn't a very large graduating class for chemistry.
That's crazy. But that's really cool too.
Yeah, it's fun. I had a great time in undergrad.
What would you say are the advantages of just like jumping straight into grad school?
Well, first of all, you won't be ancient when you graduate, because I'm just trying to finish school before I'm 30. That's my main thing. And this is one thing of, I don't know what your future personal goals are, but being a woman and being in school when you're in your 30s and 40s, you get a lot of, oh, like, why aren't you taking care of your family? Why aren't you having kids? Why are you still in school? So it's a little easier as far as that goes to be in your 20s and be doing this. So that was like a big motivator. I just didn't want to be in school and be in my 30s and 40s and being like,
yeah.
Also, I didn't want to work a real job yet. I don't know if that counts. I was like, I don't want to work. That's like a big thing. I wasn't ready. So like when I graduated, like in my senior year, I just wasn't ready to look for jobs.
Yeah.
I wasn't the type of person who was very motivated for that. And I think that's mainly because I picked grad school so early on in undergrad that I just didn't think about finding a job until it was like, I don't know, like April of my senior year. I was like, I wonder what would happen if I got a job. And everyone's like, I already have my job, like starting in June. I was like, oh. I also have these things called student loans. And as long as you stay in school, you don't have to pay them back. So that's pretty great. You know, I think my main thing is when I was in grad school, when I was in undergrad, I didn't want to get a job where I felt like I was doing the same thing every day, which is a big thing in chemistry. If you get a chemistry degree and you just have a bachelor's, all you're doing is working in a lab and you're doing the exact same thing every single day and you're following a protocol. I can't even follow a recipe. I'll follow like a 50-page protocol every day. So I just knew I just wasn't ready. And so when I was applying, I also applied to grad school late. I took my GRE took my GRE like 4 months before graduating. So I was kind of in this like limbo, I guess. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I was like, but grad school, I'm just going to stick with that plan, ride it out.
Yeah. Honestly, that's so fair.
Yeah, I get a lot of people, you know, as I mentioned, I have a couple of friends, one of my really good friends here in grad school. She went to college, 2 years in, transferred to another college, got her degree in hospitality, went to work for a hotel in like Longhorns or something, worked in industry for a while, but like food service industry and concierge kind of thing, and then came back to undergrad, went to West Florida, University of West Florida, that thing, Pensacola. Went there, got her chemistry degree, and then came to grad school. So it's like
Interesting.
everyone's just on their own journey, you know. It helped that my parents are foreign, and they have a timeline for school. And so and I don't think they would let me major in anything that wasn't a science or something that they thought they would see a career in. So I think that's another motivator behind, you know, me going to undergrad, picking a major that was in STEM, and then me coming to grad school right away.
Yeah. What do you love about science and like doing scientific research?
I like that it's just like all the time. It's just like you don't know anything all the time. That's how you feel as a scientist. You're just always looking at things and you answer all these questions and you have a lot of knowledge, but like you just don't know anything. You realize that like you just there's just so much to know that you just always feel like, I like the feeling of just always feeling like there's more. And so that's why, again, I can't do a job where I'm just doing the same thing every day, because then there's just not more. But like being a scientist and being in the STEM world, I think there's just a lot that encompasses STEM. I think a lot of people are like, oh, STEM is math and you do reactions. It's like, oh, not really, but it's like problem solving and puzzles. And it keeps you interested. And I know there's like a meme or something that goes around. It's just like, or it was a fake publication, and the title is "Scientist: Why You Like to Feel Dumb." And it's like, and it's just this whole thing of like, there's no answer to everything, but like we want to answer everything, and it's just so encouraged in the STEM field to go after the unknown. And I know in a lot of fields, it's just you read the books or you follow what other people have done. And so in STEM, it's just more of an open environment for ideas.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
People are also a lot meaner in STEM, so that's also really nice. People don't get their feelings hurt here.
Okay, so we're running low on time.
Okay.
So is there any final parting remarks, or maybe like, I don't know if you have any advice for any grad students who might have to go through something like this in the future, knock on wood that they don't?
You know, I think the main thing is like, a lot of things will be expected out of you when you're a graduate student. Your bosses hold a lot over you, because I mean, the only reason I have an apartment and, you know, can afford anything is because the school pays me. Mm-hmm. And so like, I feel like a lot of people try to use that over you, especially because when you're a grad student, you're only one notch above an undergrad on the totem pole of research. And so people are just trying to kind of guilt you into a lot of things. But when things like this happen, you just like always have to remember, like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter how successful you are in school. It's just about like you as a person, and like you staying healthy mentally, physically, and then also just like not being a shitty person. And so I know if I was trying to, you know, pretend like all this stuff isn't going on and I was trying to be as productive as I used to be and as serious, I just feel like I would just be a miserable person to be around. You just can't ignore these little emotional humps, I would say.
Yeah, that's valid.
Because, I mean, it sucks, but everyone's going through it, so
yeah,
you get on Zooms and you just Zoom people all the time, and so
for sure, yeah, got to stick together through all this.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to ask you. So, I guess this is like my other thing. I don't know, but you said you're going to grad school, right? Do you plan on going to Florida State for grad school or another grad school, or?
I'm honestly not sure yet.
Okay.
I'm kind of open to the possibility of staying here, but I'm also definitely open to going somewhere else. So I don't really know.
I think the big thing is, so as I said, the school does pay me. The wage gap between someone in the arts and literature, fine arts, mm-hmm. the STEM field is quite significant, I would say. So I think a big thing, you really need to look at cost of living and how much they're going to pay you and how many months they're going to pay you, because, you know, in undergrad, since I went to such a small undergrad, no one told me that they pay you in grad school, which is like, what? But, you know, people in STEM get paid a livable wage, so we can afford an apartment, we can afford, you know, insurance, we can afford groceries and all that. People in the fine arts, you can maybe afford an apartment. And so that's a big thing at Tallahassee. The cost of living is quite cheap compared to a lot of places. So I think that's your main thing, because student loans will catch up to you.
Yeah, that is something I'm a little concerned about, but you know,
it's an investment in yourself.
It is, and everybody's going through it. Everybody's paying off student loans, so it's fine, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I have significant student loans. My cousin went to a master's program. She has like $160,000 in student loans. It's fine.
Yeah, my mom's friend went to oh gosh, I think UPenn or Columbia for her when she was getting her MD, and she's still paying off her loans, and she's in her 40s. So
yeah, no, you pay off med school loans like your whole life.
Yeah,
it's wild. But no, that's definitely a big thing I would just look at, because no one really told me that. I didn't really care about cost of living, I guess. And nor do I understand how to budget. So I didn't know what I could afford. I actually found our academic advisor for the chemistry department emailed us and was like, these graduate students are looking for roommates. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a roommate. I was like, I wonder if we need roommates. Can we not afford our own place? and then I came down over the summer before I started and met these two other girls that are in the program. And they were like, okay, $500 is like what we can afford a month. I was like, that's it? It's like, I was like, have you guys budgeted? It's like, what are you guys doing to find these numbers? They're like, yeah. So like, okay, I'm just feeling it out, you know? So that was like my main thing. I just like, no one told me like, hey, you should really take into account how much they're going to pay you and how much it costs to live there. But Tallahassee is very cheap. Yeah, that's, you know, people are out like, you know, in California and New York and like these more expensive areas to live. Even Miami, like people who go to like Miami and go to school down there, like Florida Atlantic and stuff, they get paid roughly what we get paid here in Tallahassee as graduate students. And you're like, and I don't know if you've seen like all the University of California graduate students are like striking because they like can't even afford to live in the same county as where they like go to school, because their graduate student stipends are not enough to pay for rent anywhere in the city.
Wow, that's crazy.
So yeah, they like went on strike. They like didn't publish all these undergraduates grades, but like that's what they write. But like all the grad students were like, hey, we're like striking. Is it okay if we don't publish your grades? Like if you're a senior or you need the transcript, like we will, but like just for everyone else. And like all these students like supported them obviously, but like they fired all these like graduate students for their semester because of it. But like all of these, they just can't, they said they couldn't even afford to live 45 minutes away from the school they went to.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, you know, and not saying that we get paid a lot here. I think we get paid around, it says $24,000 a year, but we have to pay student fees, something I feel like we were misled on, but that's like $3,000 a year for student fees. You have to pay for your health insurance. The health insurance through the school, really good. I will say that. It's not expensive at all. It's like $120 a month for 9 months out of the year. So not awful. But these are all things like no one just like told me to ask about or think about before coming to grad school, because I could have applied to like, you know, a more city-like school and they get paid roughly the same as we do here. Yeah. So that's one thing I would definitely, especially if you're on a limited income, think about.
Yeah, that's really good to keep in mind. Thank you for.
No problem.
And thank you so much for meeting with me today.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Of course. You have a great day, and
You too.
good luck getting through the rest of all of this.
You too, especially with the online classes and all that. Best of luck with that. Thankfully, I do not have to take classes anymore.
Yeah, but I'm glad to hear that you're doing good working at home.
Yeah. Cool. Well, have a great rest of your semester, next semester. And let me know if you have any more questions.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.